Hello, my name's Roach. I am about to shamelessly rip off Mumbo Jumbo with this. Now, we saw that he made this tier list video, and I figured I could make a shot at that. Unfortunately, everything I build looks like garbage, and I don't really know anything about the old Redstone, so I figured I would make this list anyways for just a layman, a person who really has no idea what he's doing. Which brings me to the tier list. Again, just looks bad. So let's get started. I think initially, and once again, keep in mind, I saw that Mumbo Jumbo had done this, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to do one of these, but without looking at his. So I watched the very beginning to see what all he had. I've probably missed a fair few here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it first, do all of my ranking on this atrocious board, and then we're going to see how my opinion stacked up with the venerable Mumbo to the Jumbo. So let's get started, and I think in order to keep this at a fairly reasonable pace, we're going to have to bunch some of these up. Redstone, I think we're going to have to end up putting that in the very top. So let's put this of course is going to be S tier at the top. And then after this, redstone torches, I think once again, it's going to have to be at the top. Now, exactly why? I don't know. I mean, this is a redstone video, right? So, of course, the redstone components need to be at the top. Now, as far as this, I hate this thing. Absolutely hate it. I feel like everything I could do with this can most of the time be done with something else. So I'm going to put this at the... I might even put it all the way down here. Basically, it's just, I can never make it work. It feels terrible. Now, as far as these guys, repeaters, very, very useful. And comparators, I think these... Now, is there any other way that I could use a repeater? I feel like these both have to be A tier, right? Comparator, super handy for just pretty much everything, really. Uses at least one repeater. Maybe the comparator has some specific use cases. I might put it in B tier. You know, that's what I'm going to do. Not everything I've built had a comparator, but for the most part. So I'll stick it here, but it should probably end up going in here. This is atrocious. Now, next is target block, waxed copper bulb, because I saw that he had it on there, a lever, and an oak button. All right, so next we've got the target block. Now, the target block, I just don't know. I don't know how to use it very well. I'm sure it's very useful. Get up there. But I'm going to put it right here. The copper bulb, I don't really know. I have no idea how to use this. Truly, not for redstone stuff. So I'm going to put it here. And this is already getting confusing, so give me a second while I figure out some flag stuff. And after a not insignificant time figuring out how to do that, here we are again. It's a little bit clear. This at the bottom is just a... what? Column. You know, like, I have no idea. All right, now, as far as the lever, I think the lever I've got to put it here, right? Because there are... sometimes it's irritating. Like, I want it to be toggleable a little bit better. And then it's the same with the oak button. I probably just don't know how to use it. So there it is. We're putting it on the C. Next up, we've got all of these trapdoors. Stone button. I think, again, it's just going to have to go here. The pressure plates. I think pressure plates are pretty interesting. Let me think. When would I use a pressure plate? I mean, I think they go on B just because it's a use case thing. Maybe. Actually, no. Yeah. So I think all of these pressure plates are going to end up at this B. I don't know how to use them. You're going to hear this a lot. No idea what I'm supposed to be doing with them. The gold one, just useless. Like what can you do with the gold one that you can't do with an oak, right? It's the same with, well, I guess the heavy one is for specifically heavy things. Stone pressure plate, does that carry more before it dips down? I think so, and then even more. But I believe the oak and the light weighted are the same. Maybe I'm wrong. If I am, please let me know, but I have no idea. Next, skulk sensor, and you can see where I'm at here. I don't know how these things work. I don't understand it. Calibrated, of course, is going to be going up here. We've got wireless redstone. Again, I don't know how to use it. I've never figured it out. But people who are smart, I'm sure, are going to be put it in this A. My goal is to get maybe half of them in the same place as Mr. Mumbo Jumbo, but we'll definitely see. So let's move on to the next set. And here we are at the next set. I don't know. I'm going to put Shrieker in the bottom just because I don't think these are useful at all. Not for not for redstone components, unless it detects how many times it's been triggered. But if that's the case, then why not use, I don't know, something like a composter or even a lectern? I feel like that's the better option there. So I'm going to leave it there. I'd love for you to tell me exactly all how terrible I am. White wool, or just really any wool in general, I think is handy, like just for making things prettier. But now as far as the actual use, I'm going to put it there. Ooh, actually, no. Because of this stuff, you need the wool to protect your redstone. So if you don't want this redstone component to be wirelessly messing with everything in your build, you have to cover it in wool. Now, trip wire hooks. I think this and string. Is it bad to put it in D? Like, I feel like most of the things that you use this for can be used in other ways. You can use observers, things like that. Lecterns. C. Lectern. I think once again you can use a comparator on a lectern. A lectern with a book specifically. And so I think in specific cases where you're trying to build really complicated redstone builds, this is very helpful for calling different things, but I don't know how to use that, so I'm going to pretend like it doesn't exist. Daylight sensor. Now, am I going to put this one in C again? I think I am. So the daylight sensor, I feel like it's another use case scenario thing where it's really helpful twice a day. Really helpful basically twice a day, when the sun goes down, when it goes up. Think lightning rod. I'm going to put it down in D. I don't build anything that needs to really worry about this. I don't know how it would be used effectively in a redstone build. Maybe when I watch Mumbo's video, I'll come back and want to change all of these. But in the meantime, I think that's where that's going to go. Piston, all of these next ones, they've got to go here, right? Every single build has pistons, sticky pistons, slime blocks, honey blocks, all of your flying machines, all of your even semi-complicated redstone build, piston doors, all of that, they all use this. And I think, let's see, a dispenser, I'm going to put that here. I use dispensers everywhere. Um, for sheep farms, for bone meal farms, for anything. So that I feel like has to go in A. I don't use the dropper quite as much though. So I think it's going to go right here. I'd use it a fair bit, but not quite as much. Now, crafter, one of the newer items. I mean, truly a game changer, right? Even with its little face there. Truly a game changer. It has automated things that we wanted automated for a long time. Okay, now hoppers. I think just based on how often you use hoppers in chests, they've got to be here. I mean, even with chests, it's so versatile. You can use it in item streams to to make the item go just halfway off the blocks as it gets picked up by the hopper. You can use it, you can detect how much is in it. Super, super handy. Now, as far as barrels go, I kind of hate using these. I'm going to put them all the way down in D. So, and you may hate me for this, they look nice, and I think they are an immovable object. They don't get pulled by the slime blocks. But if you have a villager near this, they're going to come straight to this. And it is the most infuriating thing. So I'm going to put this there. Chiseled bookshelf. I mean, it's cool looking. C. I think a C. Then we've got a furnace. Now, is this really a redstone component? I mean, I use it in big builds. For all of your, you know, furnace arrays, all of that. So I feel like it has to, I mean, as far as an actual component goes, I don't think it's a very good component, though, for a redstone build. It's just useful in an actual redstone build when you're building a furnace array. So I'll put it all the way down here just because you don't actually use, or I don't actually use these very often in a redstone build. Now, a trapped chest. No. Okay, but I mean, trap chest, how often do you use them? You use it to trap people? But I'm not sure. Now, while we're down here, I think decorated pot, I don't believe they're kind of hard to make, and even if they can be used in the same way that you use a composter on top of a hopper, like I feel like it's just easier to get the wood. But now the jukebox, I'm actually going to put over in C, just because you can use it for sounds. And I really like the idea of having sounds. Next up, we have this block of amethyst. He had it on his. I have no idea why. I don't know what you would ever use for this. Maybe it makes more noise when you're going across it for the skulk stuff. I'm not really sure. The cauldron, I think this is a movable block, which means technically you have, yeah, because you can use this. I'm going to put it on B, because you can use this for, movable, you can use this to move lava and water in a less messy way. And I feel like that's just a really, really handy thing. All of the minecart stuff, just integral. I couldn't do anything without it. And next up, we have this minecart with TNT. I think... Alright, so I'm going to put this guy on B. I believe that's because, like, for me, I don't know how to effectively use it, but I think you can use this for, like, traps. Oh, wait, no, that's all that I know of, really. Because with TNT launchers, you just use regular TNT, which I haven't quite got there yet. So I'm going to put it on C. It can be helpful, just for fun. Oh, actually, D. Like, no. I want it on C. Yeah, it can be helpful just to have a fun time. Now, oak boat with chest. I've never used them. I'm going to put them. I'm going to put it on C as well, because I believe you can put a lead to this and bring it with you, which just drastically increases your inventory. But at the same time, oh, I bet you could use this for like, because it has such a big hitbox. Yeah, because I think it would stay on a bunch of hoppers. Whoops. Yeah, and I think all of these hoppers would pick up stuff from this. So I think if you did it right, it would be very handy for basically expanding very quickly. So I'm going to put this in a B. Now, as far as oak and iron doors, I just don't really know how you would use these. So I'll put them here. Is it the same with the fence gates? I mean, I use it in some of my builds, but like I don't think so. So I don't know. Maybe I'll come back later and change it after I've watched his video. But there we go. Now, as far as iron trapdoors, I guess really all of the trapdoors, I know that they're handy. I'll put them in C, but it's like, what can you do with this that you couldn't do with like a slab or something like that when it comes to a build? I'm not really sure. Redstone ore. I I don't know what to do with this. I don't think it really does anything. I'm going to put it in F tier. TNT, on the other hand, definitely A. Use it all the time. A bell? Very handy for villagers, but I don't know how to use it. And I think the next few are going to be like that for me. Drip leaf and armor stand. These, I just don't know. How am I supposed to use this for a redstone build? I just don't know. But I'd love to figure it out. So the magma cube block, I mean, it's good for item. So I think I'll put it in a B tier, just because I feel like it's probably, it's just handy. Now I think this guy needs to be in here because I believe the coral you use to dupe TNT and like boars and that sort of a thing. Oak leaves. Now oak leaves are non-spawnable, so you can use this to, I'm going to put them on the C. I think it's just handy to have blocks that you can build with that aren't spawning on. The brown mushroom, cactus, I also think I want to put it in B tier. The cactus, very, very handy for deleting items, for when you're using hopper minecarts for quick item transfers. Use a cactus to break this, pushes everything out. Next up, we have soul sand, and I think soul sand, super, super handy. Um, just for item transportation. Very, very nice. Glass, also A tier. I mean, you can make old-fashioned item elevators with this just by, doing something like this. It is a block that's transparent. You could do, I believe, you can do stuff like this. I think it's like this. Whoops. Where you have a redstone line going through this because it's transparent, and that is also very, very handy. So definitely A tier is where that goes. Maybe this should be S tier. It definitely should be S tier, but the powdered snow bucket, I have no idea. No idea how it's supposed to be used. The blue ice, on the other hand, as well as shulker box, that is going to be going at the very, very top here. Blue ice, you have to have it for transporting items. And shulker boxes, once you get this, everything is so much easier. Rod, well, it's supposed to be the little breeze puffs, but I couldn't really find it. But even so, here we have more wireless redstone. I think they're hard to control though, so I'm going to put them at B. I don't really know how to use them. The same thing is true, well, with this block of netherite. Don't really know what it's used for. Super expensive, so here it goes. And then finally, we have a sea pickle. Now the sea pickle, very, very handy for items, I mean, lighting things up in water if you're using a lot of water. So this is going to go in the A tier. I can't even do the tiers right. The S tier is what this is supposed to be. But regardless, this is mine. So I'm going to go watch Mumbo Jumbo's video, and then I will be back in just a second. And after about 15 minutes, yeah, I got all of this wrong. Every bit of it was bad.